The Tailgate Show, the Tailgate Show. And you say Shot City, the Tailgate Show, the Tailgate Show, the Tailgate Show. And you say Shot City, the Tailgate Show, the Tailgate Show, the Tailgate Show. And you say Shot City, the Tailgate Show, the Tailgate Show, the Tailgate Show. And you say Shot City, the Tailgate Show, the Tailgate Show, the Tailgate Show.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of The Tailgate Show. It is a hangover Monday, man. Joined by Biscuits and Air Jer. Fellas, how are you feeling coming off this absolute ass kicking?
I don't even know what to feel. I feel like shit. If you want to know. I mean, you get a 100-yard rusher, and you can't do anything with that. What the hell?
Yeah.
What the hell?
All right.
And at what point was Latavius Cinnamons the guy?
Cinnamons? Never. Was never the
Like,
guy.
hey, here's an idea.
Well, we said
I
during the
got COVID.
thread pregame,
Yeah.
we said bars at right tackle. I couldn't
Bart
believe
should
they marched
absolutely have
Simmons out
started
there.
at right tackle. There was no reason for him not to start at right tackle.
And then it took him 4 drives to figure that shit out too.
By that time, it's already done. 3 turnovers later, basically.
Yeah.
It's a wrap.
Yeah, pocket presence was part of the equation there too.
Going there that early?
No, I'm just saying, like we there's a lot of things that it's not. Yeah, with shitty right tackle play, absolutely. Shitty quarterback play too, and I'm a big Justin supporter. I've wanted him here since January. Like I love the potential of him. I'm not writing him off by any stretch of the imagination, but it's hard as a Bears fan not to go to a dark place when shit's this dark, and we've had a pretty dark QB history. So it's an interesting dynamic watching all of it unfold on Twitter too, because I'm not really on Twitter much, but like over defending him is happening. And like I'm all about that right now because it's early, but it's been bad. Like if we didn't say Minnesota traded up to draft him and he was playing like this for Minnesota, what would our reaction be?
Well, I think our reaction would be throwing shit in their face just because it's Minnesota. But
Right.
I think you have some validity what you're saying there. I do want to caution that it is 5 games in. I don't think
I'm not on a ledge by any stretch of the imagination. I'm just saying,
Okay.
like it's hard not to go to that place as a Bears fan because we've had that horrible history at QB, and it unfortunately Justin's a rookie, and with Nagy's crappy coaching, because his fingerprints are still all over this shit. He's not mature enough in his career yet to overcome the deficiencies around him. Yes, that's the O-line. Yes, that's the receivers not getting separation. Yes, that's Nagy's play calling, right? I thought he would be, and maybe I overhyped him in my mind. I thought he would be the guy to be able to come in here and be good enough to succeed despite it all. Yeah.
Nagy proof.
Overcome the coaching.
Yeah.
Right.
No.
And it's just
Neither Nagy.
It's Pace and Nagy, what they built here, man.
I
Like
was just going to say, neither Nagy proof nor Pace proof. It's been proven again.
and I don't want to see this kid fail. I want this kid to be the best quarterback that's ever stepped foot on an NFL field. And I'm not writing him off. I'm just saying it's been ugly so far. And that does have a lot to do with what's going on around him, but it's also him. Let's not bullshit ourselves here.
He has to make better decisions. He does have to make better decisions. You know, he has to get some help too. He throws balls to guys and that hits them in the hands and they drop it.
I know, man. That's
Cole Kmet looking at you.
Darnell Mooney.
Another tight end.
Allen Robinson falls off.
Another tight end. They don't develop tight ends.
Who have they developed in this offense? We've said this for a while, and not to be that, but we're going to be that. Who's developed in this offense?
I guess you could say Mooney, but I don't know if I'd give coaching staff credit more than his drive and will to, like, the things that we heard he was doing, like jugs machines in the hotel room and all that crazy stuff, right?
He needs to hit it again because it didn't work last week.
what I'm saying for where he was drafted, I would think if they really want to hang their hat on developing Mooney, but offensively, they've hit on running backs. I will say that.
So one area where Pace has
I
been
think
successful on offense.
I think eventually, if they handle this correctly and get the right coach in here, we could say they're going to hit on a quarterback. But I feel like I hate to bring up the name that should be unspoken here, whatever. But I kind of feel I'm in that same vibe as a fan right now that I was when Fox was here with Mitch, and I was just hoping Fox wouldn't ruin Mitch. And I'm feeling the same way now that I just hope Nagy doesn't ruin Fields. Like, I just hope it's stable enough to get to the next coach without doing too much damage to him.
So speaking of the Bears Twitter polls, Diddy, do you subscribe to the theory that Nagy was correct about Justin not being ready from the get-go? Seems to be a popular trend on Bears Twitter right now.
I don't think this roster and coaching staff is ready to bring along a rookie QB. And it's a damn shame. I don't think this is. It's hard to make that evaluation from Nagy's standpoint when you didn't even give the kid first team reps or let him compete. That's on you. You held him back, coach. So like for him to make that evaluation is bullshit. That evaluation is self-inflicted on Nagy's part.
You said you wanted to see what the talent around Justin Fields was like. You wanted to get a true talent evaluations of the players on the field with Justin Fields right now. You're getting it. It's ugly. It's bad.
We don't have a number one wide receiver.
We're down to our fifth and sixth tackle. And Elijah Wilkinson, Jesus. He was doing much in retrospect, you just look at it. He's doing much better than we would have ever thought. And he gets hit with the COVID right before, where he's in the hotel room with Juan Castillo watching tape that morning.
Yep.
So that should put Castillo in precautions too, right? If he tested positive or if he was a close contact, I don't know.
Yeah.
So,
and it's bad when we're reaching for Wilkinson. That's what we want because that's how bad that showing was from Simmons.
And everybody's talking about, well, Ryan Pace is kind of like, no, really, he's not. And here's what I'm going to say about that. When you draft a tackle in the first round, second round, with back issues, knowing that he has back issues, and he's basically, he takes a hit in practice or something, he gets a new injury, that affects your depth. It's his job as the GM to provide depth on this roster. Obviously, we have an issue with depth. The last two opponents, you can see it with Green Bay and with Tampa Bay. What do? They just keep rolling. Down multiple starters, down multiple contributors. They keep playing and they keep winning. Why is that? It's because they have depth. And they do have franchise quarterbacks and they have depth.
But they have quarterbacks that are good enough to.
They don't play defense. Quarterbacks don't play defense.
I thought you were talking about offensive line.
Oh, offensive line too.
Well, a very experienced veteran, top 10 quarterback in the league with backup offensive linemen are going to be able to be better, still be what they are because of what they know, what they do. It's different, man. That's what I'm trying to say. That's what I thought Fields would be able to bring, and it's just he's not there yet. He's not ready yet.
Other teams have depth, and they just step in. That's all I'm saying.
I think you both are right. I think Diddy's right. More experienced quarterback's going to make that line look better, especially when young, inexperienced guys get in there. But if you flash back to that Packers game against San Francisco, when they inserted that left tackle in his first game, the first couple plays were a little rough. After that, he really settled in, left him on an island, and they weren't even chipping Nick Bosa at that point. And he still played better football than what we've seen this year from any left tackle, Peters included.
Why is that?
You hit it, Ryan Pace.
Ryan Pace is not hitting
forever.
Oh, also the coaching staff not developing talent. Castillo is not the fucking O-line whisperer.
Nope. Although we have ran the ball better, I think the decision to not play Alex Bars at right tackle was once again just another indictment on this coaching staff. It's like you can't see the talent around you. You can't see that this guy actually, after Alex got in there, he played really well, I thought.
It's actually pretty impressive how well we're running with how bad Mustafa is.
All he has to do is get a stalemate and stay in the way. He's not going to get to the second level too often, but
I was surprised after using Bars as that extra tackle in weeks previous that they reached into the well for Simmons over him.
Like I think they view him as a guard. But I agree. I mean, with what we have right now,
they view him as a guard. Why would you put him on the outside as a tight end, where you're going to do tackle shit?
He's a better blocker than a tight end.
Yeah, he's a better blocker than Simmons.
Shouldn't most, right? But most guards should be a better blocker than a tight end.
You would think, yep. And they should be athletic enough to pull and athletic enough to get around on the outside and not give up the inside.
He's a Notre Dame kid, so just put him out there. Let him do what he does.
Coach Matt.
Yeah, I don't. That's just.
He got 40. He got 40 some yards. I'll give him that. He didn't get his 60. Fucker.
He's our leading receiver.
Yeah, everything's just off at the same time. Even the defense, man. Like, and it's hard when you give Brady half the field to start, but
yeah,
it's just
every facet of the team failed. Special teams failed. Defense really failed. You know, you don't have to give up 38 points. Defense, you can stop them. It's
including 28 in the first quarter.
Yep.
That thing fell apart. So I mean, within 4 minutes of game time, you could just feel like the game was over. And everybody knew it.
And
I think,
Herbert,
including the players on the field.
Herbert is the real deal.
Yep, I think that guy's.
I'm not.
I said this when he came in.
We found some depth like, at running back.
Wally Pitt, baby.
Are you paying Monty then?
No.
When's he up?
2 years, I think, after next year.
You don't have to stress that. You don't have to stress that right now. I like Monty, but that's a great 1-2 punch to have.
Yeah.
I think it's more like, I don't know how Cohen's contract structure, but that's the guy that we're probably going to try to get out of contract wise right now, because they paid him a shitload of money for what he's done.
Yeah.
You know, I think they were expecting him to be like Cordero Patterson's replacement or something. They kind of gave him
rushed for a touchdown this Sunday.
Yeah, I'm just talking as far as a special team guy that can also be a off-pace back and all that crap. So
probably the only guy who's also left here and produced. Going back to Jared's point earlier about what guys have they developed. You look at all the offensive talent that's walked out of the building here. Nobody else besides Patterson has really produced. And I would argue he was even a known commodity before he even got here.
He absolutely was. Yeah. Yep.
So think about how he started too. He started as a number 1 draft pick coming out of Tennessee to Minnesota, and he couldn't catch the ball. Had a hard time catching the football, right? So what do? They put him back as a return man. Boom. Yeah. He takes off as a return man, and then he goes to New England, and they're like, hey, we can put him as a running back. We can do all this other stuff. And then he gets to Chicago, and we have to do that because we don't have any talent back there. It's just a bad situation, man. It's a bad situation with this team in general.
And then to add to the fun, I mean, yes. we can talk about this ass kicking as long as you guys want to.
Go for it.
Pretty defeated from it, so I didn't want to talk about it at all. But here we are. The weirdness of today, like, there's basically yeah. So all the reporters, Chicago media that was down in Tampa got stranded down there. So then the Bears release. There's going to be a Zoom conference, and I was listening to the Windy City Breeze, and they were saying there's going to be more COVID cases that are going to be reported later. And I just figured they're doing this to help out all the media that's jammed down there. They could still be part of the presser, right? Nope, our coach has COVID. And the timing was weird, right? Because he's coming off his worst loss as a coach, the worst loss we witnessed in a long ass time. Calls for him being fired in the stadium. So,
which were epic. Congratulations, Bears
right,
fans.
and
You got
I'm not.
through on
You
the
know what?
TV.
Let me just say this ahead of what I'm going to say. Hope he gets well. COVID's not a joke, right? But shit's kind of miserable right now. Twitter is a place of a fucking cesspool. Like, we're all being sarcastic and like this, like, it's fun. It's the shit that you wouldn't say to somebody in person. That's what Twitter's always been. It's just like your thoughts, your brain farts. You can type them, right?
I'm pretty
We're
solid
just-
on mine.
I'm just saying, it's just like we're
I think
not
there's
gonna.
some people taking it too far, though. One guy said, "Well, hopefully he'll die now," right? I mean,
I
come
personally didn't see that. What I'm talking about is the lighthearted shit. Like, it's like
like the
Barstool-
joke you made, I thought was appropriate. Like,
right?
that-
Like
that was
Barstool,
fine.
Big Cat put out a tweet looking up the firing policies with COVID, and you can't fire somebody with COVID. That's funny. It's
I
not
think
funny that he
lighthearted
has
jokes
it.
are fine. Yeah.
And then people get on there, they're like, "Oh, well, you shouldn't joke about that. That's very insensitive."
That was me. I tweeted about that today.
Oh, you did too?
Only because I had saw 2 or 3 people that were like wishing the man death.
That's
Like
crazy.
that to me, it just goes too fucking far.
You
man.
dive way deeper into Twitter than I do. If that's what was going on, then yeah, that shit's not right.
You just wonder what a guy like Barstool Big Cat actually knows, where players actually talk to him, if they talk to him on that kind of level.
I don't think so. Not Barstool. They're like the TMZ.
I mean, they
I
had
don't know.
I don't know,
Ed
man.
Mitchell over there.
Big Cat was also buddy with Jay too.
Yeah, but
I
how?
bet there's some conversations there.
who
I'm
on-
sure he's getting more information than people like we are.
Oh, I'm sure he has some sort of connection. But
But here
Man,
we
it's-
are, back to the future too. We've
yeah.
went back into the time machine, and we're back to basically Matt Nagy era offense, and he's got to
Yeah.
go, right?
Didn't it just hit you all weird today, though? The whole dynamic today.
The
It's just
press
like-
wasn't there.
With the COVID.
He's
Well, not just the fact that he has COVID. I hope he gets better quickly. Okay, it's just the series of events. It's just like we just got our fucking asses handed to us, of course, on a national stage, right? That was the
Right.
afternoon game on CBS for everybody to see. And then it's not just the COVID situation, but it's also the press conference and the technology. This is a $4+ billion franchise, and you can't even get Wi-Fi for your coach properly. Like somebody said, it looks like an XFL team. It's like it's
the
ridiculous.
Battlehawks would never do it that way. They'd do it way better.
It's just bad on top of bad. Like it's
It was
it's
pretty
been-
fitting, though. It was fitting.
fitting, sure. Embarrassing as fuck, sure. And I just think that, like, as a fan base, Sylvie summed it up perfectly today. We love the Chicago Bears. They just don't love us back as an organization. They love our money.
They are the Cubs. They're the 1980s and the 1990s Cubs.
So that's actually a really interesting point that you bring up, and another pulse of Twitter. Do you all think that the McCaskies don't care about winning at all? Is it all about money for them? My feeling is, yes, they want to make the money, of course. Winning leads to more money. I truly think in their heart of hearts that they do want to win. They're just so fucking inept on how to get there
I
and
think you're
how to
right.
make those decisions.
And I
That's my
think
personal opinion.
Bruce Arians walked out the door because Mark Trestman was better at faking a press conference. They're
Ted
worried
Phillips.
about the image, which is surprising because it took an asshole coach to come in here
Ted Phillips.
back in the mid 80s. It took early 80s, took an asshole coach to come in here, basically tell players you might not be here next year. Get your shit together. And that's what got
George
us to a
Halas-
Super Bowl.
And George Halas was still there.
Yeah, I mean, look how
For
bad look how bad Ditko was in pressers, man.
We have Ted Phillips. Ted Phillips. We've got fucking Ted Phillips.
Right, but we had a coach that was sticking gum on
Ted
cameras and yelling at people, but we won. And now all of a sudden they just erased that, and it has to be a nice guy. Oh, gee golly, somebody you'd want to live next door to. Like, Get a dog in here, man. Get somebody in here who's gonna. I don't care if he's an asshole.
Oh yes, the Coastal Carolina coach. We want dogs.
Watching some Coach Bennett in the building.
No, we.
Oh,
Dude,
could
right now,
it be worse? Could
right
Coach
now-
Bennett honestly be fucking worse right now?
I know it's not a sexy name, right? But like right now, I'm feeling Josh McDaniels, man, just because of the fact that I know our lineups. That we're not a coach away from coming in here and having a Midas touch, right? We have a roster that's deficient. He's proven that he knows how to coach to his players' talent. He's worked with several QBs. He had the balls enough at 32 years old to go into an organization that he was the head coach of and say, Jay Cutler, you're not the dude. Brandon Marshall, you're a head case. And we're like, okay, we'll take him.
But he wasn't wrong about it.
He also
either.
turned down the Colts job too, correct?
I know the Colts, but he didn't sign either. I know he's an asshole. But he's only 45 years old. He's had a lot of experience. I just think he's a guy that could come in here and put his players in the right position to at least start getting things on the right track. And I'm not.
Assistants took those jobs though. By the way, they moved their families to Indianapolis based on.
And they're still
him.
there, right?
Some of them, I believe, there's only 2 left. I believe that ended up staying. The rest of them got fired or decided to leave after 1 year. But I don't think there's any doubt that McDaniels knows offense. He knows how to use his players to their strengths. I think the biggest question has always been for him since Denver is, can he manage people? And maybe with some time, since that experiment, that has changed. I wouldn't totally hate it.
He's been around your boy too most of his career.
My guy, like if we're going down to let's replace Nagy track, I want the Ryan Day, Kevin Wilson sandwich from Ohio State, please and thank you.
I
watched.
Kevin
Kevin Wilson was the head coach at IU. He produced points with a subpar offensive talent. He went to Ohio State, developed an offense around Justin Fields. Give me that. Give me that connection. The guy that's already had the connection with the quarterback. Somebody he's comfortable with.
Why would you leave Ohio State?
Because this is the charter franchise. As much as a dumpster fire as it is, this job will always have appeal to coaches. Always.
Oh yeah.
I personally think so.
I mean, Bruce Arians did want it.
Yeah, before he became a head, that would have been his first head coaching gig there. He was an intern.
Yeah, okay.
I'm just saying, like, John Harbaugh wasn't lining up when we had an opening.
That's true.
And that would have been you think that would have been the first guy.
We've hired a lot of first-time coaches in our franchise history.
College coaches live like kings, bro.
That is true. I'm just saying, if you can find a way and get those two away from Columbus, do it.
Who wouldn't want to come? Who wouldn't want to?
Do not bring their defensive coordinator. Leave his ass in Columbus, but give me Ryan Day and give me Kevin Wilson.
I mean, you don't think this job's going to be attractive to somebody with the money that they're going to? Now, granted, yes, they're probably not paying their head coaches as much as some of the top franchises in the NFL. You're still going to have a pay increase. You're still in one of the largest markets in the nation, and you have Justin Fields. I think there's a lot of attractiveness there.
I think you're right if they time it right. I don't know if another year with Nagy is going to make it as appealing. I think that if you get rid of Nagy now or at the end of the season, yes, the job will have much more appeal. I think if you let Nagy have one more year with Fields and then fire him, who knows? I don't know. I don't know what this fucking mad scientist is going to come up with. He has not proven he's been able to, even the veterans he brings in. I don't know, man. I just don't think he's that guy. I think you need to move on.
Agree.
That's a fair point. Things do change if you give Nagy 2022.
Oh, why would you? Can you? Can you, as ownership and with good faith, do that?
They've done it for pretty much my entire life, and you guys are a little bit older than me. They've done it for, I mean, nothing that they do surprises me anymore. And this is I think we've said this multiple times, but at the end of last year, when everyone was ready to burn down Hallis Hall, what did they do? They came out that presser and they said, well, he's made the playoffs 2 out of the last 3 years, and that's not an easy thing to do. I mean, they hang their hat on that type of shit. So it would not surprise me to see him back here next year.
This year, almost nearly half the teams in the NFC will make the playoffs. 7. Is it really an accomplishment?
It was for them last year.
I'm just thinking that's not really okay. You're better than half plus one, of the conference.
I think if I was Pace right now, you like your job, because if one or two things has to happen. Nagy has to start making things look better, or Fields has to start really clicking good enough to make Nagy look better. And if one of those two things doesn't happen, if I'm Pace, I'm like, dude, this is about the development of this kid. I'm not doing this again. You're out the fucking door.
That should be the move. If I'm Ryan Pace,
there has to be some self-preservation. I'll have a lot more respect for Pace. Like, okay, in my mind as a fan, I'll give you a little more time now. You made the right fucking move. You took your pride out of the way. Because I don't know, man.
I think they need to be a package deal, but if I had to choose one or the other, Nagy has to be the one to go. And I'll live with the shortcomings of a guy who I've wanted fired since 2019.
And you need to get a developer of talent in here as a coach. Either hire a head, and I don't even care what sorry, Jay, I don't care what the head coach. If you're a good enough head coach to get the right coordinators in here, I don't care where you're from or what your name is. Do you know what I mean? I don't care who it is. You could be an average head coach, but you could also be attractive enough to top coordinators coming in to work with you.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I just want to see a good staff put together. And I want to see people that can come in and actually make Fields better. And I don't know if that, like, I don't care if the whole head coach needs to be a coordinator bullshit.
Agreed.
It doesn't need to be that way. My brother brought up an interesting name, and I know he's older, but he's like Leslie Frazier should have a chance at being a head coach at some point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Wasn't he an interim for a little bit at Minnesota?
He was. Yeah. But I'm just saying, like, you could bring in a stable leader of the team that has enough connections to bring in really good offensive, defensive, offensive line coaches, all that stuff. So I think they need to move on, man. Unless Nagy, something weird clicks and things start flowing. I don't want him around Fields. I don't think he deserves the way he has shitty as he is as a coach. He doesn't deserve Fields, man.
Let's call it what it is. The Kansas City offense and its variations put up a grand total of 6 points this Sunday. We had 3 of them. The Chiefs had the other 3.
Found a kicker.
Yeah, we do have a fucking kicker.
And can't get into field goal range. Hardly ever.
Can't even get that going.
I'm glad you brought that up, Diddy, because I know the trend is always go for the quarterback guru, go for the offensive guy. But I look across the league. I mean, you look at not so much this past week, but you look at the Chargers with Brandon Staley.
Yep, Justin Herbert. I was just thinking about that.
Dude, he's chucking the ball over the fucking field like Seabiscuit, and that's a defensive coach. So I don't need a quarterback guru. Like you said, right. I need a guy who's going to put together a competent fucking staff.
And with Staley, how's that defense? Is the defense better under him? No. He's a defensive guy, right?
Yeah.
You're right. Get a solid leader in here that can bring the right people in under him.
Absolutely.
And don't hire some 90-year-old Giants ex-executive to do it. Like that's
you don't want Ernie in charge of
no. That's why I've been wanting to just restructure. Hire the guy that's going to hire the guy. Hire a football person to be in charge of football operations. Let him hire the GM. That, you know what I mean? Like that's you don't have people with football knowledge in here, so they have to hire consultants that used to be good at something back in the 80s and 90s.
A very Cubs thing to do.
Well, you should have the people on your staff that can evaluate that talent in higher levels.
And can we put to bed the idea of bringing in a bunch of former Bears players to make that decision? Did you see that shit going around? People are like, let's bring in Olin and Brian and let's let them choose the next guy. Like, what the fuck kind of qualifications do they have to make that decision?
I would
More
pick
than
up.
10, probably.
I would pick up the phone. I would say, "Hey, Mr. Ozzie Newsome, how are you?"
Yes. Yes. I would pay him an absurd amount of money.
And how much money do you want exactly?
Blank
need-
check.
We need some fixing, man. Like,
We need
Yeah.
some fixing.
Yes.
Fixing.
Sign me up for fucking that. That's the best thing I've heard all day. Yes.
that's what I've wanted here for a while. But anywho, I'm telling you, hire us. The Tailgate Show Inc.
We'll get you figured out. AA couldn't be here today, by the way. He has work obligations. So we miss you. Hopefully he'll come back in next week or sooner.
Yeah.
Man.
Nagy 6-21 against competition 500 or better.
6-21, 500 and better. Jesus. That's pretty bad. I'm going to guess 2 of those is probably Minnesota.
I was about to say the exact same thing. Yeah.
2 or 3 of those are probably Minnesota.
It's pretty bad.
The Rams.
Yeah, the Rams would be one.
I don't know if Tampa's record was when we beat them last year.
They were a winning record. That's 2.
Oh, so was that stat beating a winning team at that moment, or
I would
based on
assume
their
so.
end of the year record?
No, probably at that moment. Green Bay, once.
There's 3. 3 more. I would bet Minnesota's 4.
Jesus.
If not, and probably 5.
There's probably at least 2 Minnesota ones in there.
Yeah.
No, I would say 4.
Bengals.
Probably.
The Bengals. There's 6.
Oh yeah, Bengals. There you go, Jer. Good pull. Yeah. So, can I get your all's opinion on that gem of a quote that Nagy brought today?
What would that be? There's so many.
So this is what Dan Wiederer put out today. He said, quote, Matt Nagy, a couple years ago, we went through that 4-game losing streak. Last year, we go through a 6-game losing streak. I think that's what we're all feeling right now. We feel that. And then you feel the lack of scoring. So let's get back to scoring. Let's get back to playing as a team. Let's get back to winning. And let's do that consistently against any team that we play.
When did we ever fucking score? When? When did we ever score? Literally, this is like a Beavis and Butthead thing, right? We're going to score. We're going to score. And it's like, we never fucking score.
And it
You
sounds
get
like
slapped.
Go ahead, Joe. Sorry.
No, go ahead. No, you're fine.
It almost sounds like he had a notepad in the plane ride home. And he was like, what inspirational kind of message can I send this week? And that's the bullshit he came out with. You've been the bottom feeding offense in this league since you've been here, you fuck. Like, that's what you're going to come out and say? Like, it's just like, even in the presser, he has no, like, feeling for the room, man. Like,
No, fuck that guy. Fuck that guy.
After getting curb stomped, basically, the way you did in Tampa, you're going to sit there in front of the media and say that this team's closer than it's ever been this year in the last 24 to 48 hours. I don't want to hear that shit. Like, this is what he does. We need to get back to scoring.
Look at some human centipede shit.
Like, we've had a consistent level of scoring since you've been head coach. No. Back to your Kansas City days, bro? Or are you now, like, forgetting where you are?
Well, remember, he's never been a part of something like this before.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that gem of a quote?
He just
talks to talk.
Was that a smoke signal today to ownership? You know, signaling, hey, you know, this team's never been closer. I'm not losing this locker room.
Shit, that might have been. But he's definitely lost the fan base.
Yeah.
Jeremy Chan?
That. Yeah. Yeah, on the TV broadcast, you could fucking hear it.
Right behind the bench.
Well done. I think Dustin Reagan Padilla put something out on his Twitter feed. He was at the game. He was right behind the bench, and it was very loud enough you could pick it up on the broadcast. There is a YouTube link
We
floating
travel
around
well,
there.
bro. We love this team. We're going to.
Yeah, we're going to Pittsburgh.
Yeah, say, get your voices ready for Pittsburgh. I'll be up there.
It won't be the first time I've chanted "fire a coach." I did
Well,
fucking Firefox, and
when I plan the trip, I'm like, I'm hoping
Sick
Fields
of
is
it.
starting. I'm all excited. This is before the season started, you know. Like, yeah, buddy. Listen, I'll hopefully be able to see Fields start in person. And it's like they just the Bears brass could fuck up a wet dream.
correct, absolutely correct.
Yeah, look at the schedule. We think we would have been humming at that point with Justin in there. Okay, all right, we'll slaughter
At
through
least-
the first couple games of Dalton and get hot by that time we went up there in November.
At least over 160 yards of passing, maybe some passing touchdowns. We're not even getting that. We're not even getting that. Think about how bad that is.
Oh yeah, you sent.
Oh, look
that,
at everybody
in the
wants to
thread.
say Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold sucks, right? We'd probably kill for Sam Darnold quarterback numbers sometimes right now.
The one thing I will say about Justin, though, like, yes, he's not playing well right now, but like that dude came out in his uniform, and they said they've never seen a player come out that quick for a presser. He came out. He said he basically owned it. Do you know what I mean? Like, he came out there. He didn't seem rattled. He's just like, I'm not used to this, man. Like, I'm just going to start working harder. This is the way
He
he's
looked kind of
wired.
rattled on the sideline, though.
Frustrated, dude. Fuck. Like, Tom Brady would have fucking broke a helmet. You know what I mean?
Did you find it concerning though,
me.
that there was no coaches over there with him, walking him through anything on a Surface tablet or nothing?
How long did they keep the cameras on Justin Fields on the bench? We it's like such a quick snap. We don't really know if people are going over there or not. Like, you get that little click and he's just sitting there like, fuck. But then they pan out. What happens then? I don't know if that's like a true
Do you think maybe
picture of what's going on.
I wonder if he just doesn't tune the coaches out completely at some points. I would.
Who's on the sideline?
I mean, he's getting his ass kicked
Well, they showed
every time he drops back.
DiFilippo was there next to him at one panning, talking to him on the bench.
I think I missed that one. I was so red-eyed.
Oh, it was horrible.
And what's worse is last week on the preview, like, we all expected this. We knew that this was going to happen, and yet
We knew that they would lose, but
I predicted pretty much a blowout. I think you both did too. I think Diddy's
No,
maybe a little
14
bit more.
points.
I was 24-21, but they even treated us like a bye week and we couldn't take advantage of it. They let guys sit and a lot of important pieces to the team, man. Like, this wasn't like a full freaking throttled Tampa Bay team. Imagine, I mean, that stupid poster the Bears released about the bear head looking like Jaws. Tom Brady's just sitting there like, done.
Well, the shark did get blown up at the end of that movie, so that's also pretty fucking fitting.
Yeah, but there were no kills, dude. It was just like
Jalen Johnson, get to fucking work on time. You ain't that dude either. He got fucking smoked for 3 touchdowns. Not one,
time, dude.
Not 2, 3. Quit bitching about fucking, it was a minute late. Fuck that dude. You got
minute late on his coverage too.
Yep. Sure was.
But I think that's just a young guy making a social media mistake. I don't think that's. I'm not gonna start.
The young guy evidently not showing up. I'm sure there were several things before that led up to that point.
Where was Mac, bro?
I saw him running around chasing Tom Brady and looking.
How many
not
pressures?
Healthy. Maybe I don't know.
I'm just saying, like, the pressure
nobody got pressure.
I don't even think Roquan had a good game. I think Diddy said it last week. I think it makes a really good point. This generation, we are older than Jalen Smith, and they have grown up where everything is posted on. Jalen Johnson. Sorry, everything is posted on social media now. You know, I show up to work on time, but I'm not going to fault the kid for making a stupid social media post.
No, but I am going to call you out for putting said post up and then playing like that.
All right, Jer, who's going to hold Mike Evans in coverage when you're not getting fucking pressure up front? One-on-one.
I don't know. I don't know, but you want to say you're the dude? And
I mean, he didn't have a good game despite the lack of pressure
Okay.
generated up front, but
He's not one of the guys
does
I'm
have
worried
a point
about.
there too. No,
I
me
agree.
neither.
I
Me
agree,
neither.
but I'm saying show up to work. Be the leader.
Like Eddie was with 11
putting your-
tackles.
But I think it further shows that he doesn't respect Matt Nagy or the coaching staff here.
Yep.
I mean, it's just another line and a long trail. Like Jimmy Graham coming out and doing that shit a couple weeks back. We're starting to see things come out
Nichols
now.
punch to the helmet,
Yeah.
man.
Boom.
Dudes are starting to get frustrated, man.
That dude was antagonizing us all fucking game too.
Well, you got to be bigger than the trash talk.
Yeah,
It's the same. You want to have your feelings hurt? Okay, Rogers said he owns us. Change it.
Oh,
That guy only antagonizes you because he is kicking your ass and pushing you around like a bitch.
And that's
Stop
another
it.
thing, Jared. Coming off that game where you had your arch nemesis tell your fan base, I've owned you my whole fucking life, and this is what you come out and do the next game.
Mm-hmm. No fire, no heart.
Hmm.
And they showed this in the preseason when when Mitch came in and fucking lit them up. There was no heart. Don't you want to show that it's not him? Or it's not you, it was him the whole time? There's no fucking dog. Ain't no dogs here. We got cats.
There's no let's be better. Let's think outside of ourselves here and step the fuck up offensively for Justin.
Right.
Like, let's rally behind this kid. I'm not getting that vibe.
Now, that's what's concerning. What's up with Allen Robinson? Where's he at? It was Mitch's ride or die.
Where's the slant game? Where's helping your young rookie quarterback out?
Yeah, it's a good point.
Why is that beneath Nagy?
Well, you tried to do it with Cole Kmet, and Kmet airmails it through his hands.
Yeah, but with the time we have, put a speedster there.
Can they afford to throw a speedster in there?
Yeah, we got a bunch of speedsters that don't do nothing most of the game.
Does Justin's release take too long for a speedster?
Yeah, but you went out with a purpose this offseason and got a bunch of guys with speed, and then you're asking them all to run static routes.
Yep.
Just doesn't make any fucking sense.
Yeah, just take your defender with you so we can open up nothing that we're doing over here.
Dude, the Tampa Bay's DBs, which were severely banged up, were running the routes for the Bears wide receivers. Yep. They knew every place they were going, they knew it.
Yeah.
Oh, and congratulations on still not being able to run a scramble drill. Not since Matt Nagy has been here have they been able to do it. No screen game.
0 touchdowns, 3 picks, and how many fumbles? 2, 3?
2 or 3.
2 lost.
2 lost. Yeah, 3 total.
It's not good, man, when 5 turnovers and no touchdowns.
Nope. You think Justin?
Oh no, we recovered. We recovered 1.
Yeah.
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 So do you think Justin should be held to the flames a little bit? I mean, I don't think he should get an automatic pass just because everybody's like he's
what do you mean held to the flames by us or by?
I mean, is there something that he's doing that can be changed that it's on him a little bit? You know what I'm saying?
I'll put it on him when I see him have decent blocking up front.
That's pretty much where I'm at. I mean, I don't think, Diddy started off the show making a great point, and I don't want to be a truther. I don't think he's immune to criticism. There are things that he can do better. I just think the more glaring issues for me right now are scheme and personnel around him. I don't think we're ready for Justin Fields.
I think one of the things I picked up on just a little bit, he could probably be better in his play action fakes. He needs to be better in his play action fakes. How can we rush for 100 yards in play action and not work? Somebody's either not carrying out the fake or where there are tells along the line where other teams are like, this isn't, like there was times 2 weeks ago, I think we said Williams would come in for the play action pass because he's a better blocker, correct? I think we all
Yes.
picked up on that.
Agreed.
Herbert's in. They run play action. They get nothing. Nothing. No separation from receivers. No linebackers bite on it. No respect. Now, why is that? Is it because of maybe an alignment? Is it because of not following through with your play action fake well? I don't know.
Just staying at home with a rookie quarterback.
Yeah, but even if you got a running back, and let's face it, Khalil Herbert was running really well against him.
Yeah, he was protecting like shit.
Well, he's a rookie running back. They're typically not
Rookie
very
running
good.
back, rookie quarterback, linebackers. Linebackers like,
Well, that doesn't
yummy,
affect.
yummy.
It should not affect your play action game.
Well, what
I
about
mean-
Myles Garrett after that game? His comments saying that they knew exactly what we were going to run before we even run it. Is this offense too predictable? I mean, I think
Yes.
it's
I think
easy to
that's
say
easily-
at this point.
Bill Lazor's not anything special either, boys.
No.
No, he's not. But I don't think any reasonable Bears fan looked at Bill Lazor and said he's great. Just that he was a better option than Matt Nagy, which sadly he is.
Is he
Still
though?
not saying much. Yeah, come on. Marginally, but when you play superior teams, it doesn't fucking matter who the hell your play caller is. He still has to operate within the framework of the Nagy offense.
Right.
And he still has that shitty offensive line that Pace put together. I'm not
The
trying
league-
to be a Bill Lazor stan, but I mean,
Yeah, I haven't seen anything from Bill Lazor that's been that impressive that I could legitimately say he's better.
Let's just
The
call
run-
it what it is.
The run
The
game
league
got going.
The league figured it out. The league figured out the Kansas City offense. Very simply. You go
Lazor's been-
too deep.
Lazor's been fired a couple times in this league, man.
Yep.
There's a reason.
true. My main point is that is he a better option than Matt Nagy?
I don't know. What has
I
has
think-
this offense done? Oh, we run the ball.
We scored. Have we not scored more points under our newfound identity under Lazor than we have with Nagy?
You have
I
to
think-
check that Stats and Gravy Inc. Let's
I
send
will
you on a
definitely
road mission.
check that. I just think it comes down to playing a superior competitive team. That's what's going to happen.
I think it comes down to what do you like better, a shit or a turd?
I mean, the turd for sure. Just take the turd 100 times, man. For sure.
I don't know, man.
Did you see that hypothetical?
I think
trade
Lazor.
by Max
I do,
Markham?
sorry, man. I do think Lazor has a better understanding of a game flow. I will say that. So yeah, advantage Lazor for that.
I'm going to say the same, but I'm also going to say that he also coaches to the talent that he has. And it's not much.
I can't say that, man. Not after that ass kicking. Like I can't even give anybody on that staff credit for shit after that. Coaching to your talent. It can't be that bad.
Okay,
If
well,
it's
hold
that,
on. Was Bill Lazor in charge of putting Latavius Simmons out there at right tackle?
God, I hope not. If he
I
was,
fucking
it's a
hope
terrible
not either.
decision.
If he was responsible for that, then I take back everything that I'm saying right now. I mean, he's operating with a fourth string right tackle, and that game was what 28-0 after the first quarter.
Yep.
he's operating
It was
with a backup.
What the
backup
fuck do
center,
you call
too.
at that point? Yeah, true. What the fuck do you call at that point if you're Bill Lazor? I think a Bill Lazor offense will look better than a Matt Nagy offense against the Lions of the world, which is what we saw last year against. Okay, go back to last year against Houston, Minnesota, and Jacksonville. That 3-game run where we actually put up some points. Not playing great competition, but I guarantee you, if Matt Nagy was the one calling those 3 games, we're not scoring as many points as we did. That is
Okay.
not an indication that says Bill Lazor is a good play caller. It's just saying between this shitty option and this shitty option, I'm going to take this one.
At the end of one, it was 21-0. We come down to the second quarter, we kick the field goal. So it's 21. If you score and make that 21-7, does that change anything? I don't know.
That was
Sorry.
a terrible call, too, to go for the field goal there. You're down 21, and this game is clearly getting away from you. What the fuck is 3 points going to do?
On short fields, let's just call it what it was. They scored on 3 short fields. The defense hadn't really got a chance to play. You've
think
got to
it's
have faith.
I think it's time to put Allen Robinson in that Jimmy Graham role on the inside,
non-consistent role?
just to a slot guy.
He is mostly.
Just slant city with Allen Robinson. Always have him there if things break down other places. Right now, with the talent that we have, A-Rob can get some action there. Kind of sucks to have that role on a franchise tag, but that's a hard living over the middle. But
what can you get for him right now if you put him on the block? Do you think you could pull a second-round pick out of him?
No, absolutely not.
What contender? I guess Baltimore, maybe Baltimore might be interested. You have to think about a contender that is
desperate, who thinks that they're a piece away from being over the top. Here's my thing: is your comp picks start in the 3rd round. Next year we have 40 some odd million and only, I believe, 42 players under. We're gonna spend some money next off season, which likely is going to offset that comp pick formula. So if you get offered a 2nd or a 3rd, I feel like you just have to pull the trigger right now. And I hate to be that guy going to that point saying fire sale everything, but if the future really is about developing Justin Fields and putting pieces around him, I think we've already established none of us are offering Allen Robinson $20 million a year.
I don't think anybody's going to offer him $20 million a year.
No.
That's why you waited out. That's exactly why you waited out.
Eighth Rob needs to be on the block.
I like him, right? But I like him like I like Marty Booker. Very solid guy. Not going to be like top guy.
He's not a game changer. He's not a game changer.
He's a glorified possession receiver.
Yes.
Who would look a lot better doing it elsewhere outside of this system. But
oh, sure. If this offensive line was better, yes, A-Rob would be more of a force. I'll give him that. But here, unfortunately, that's not the situation. So, yeah, I mean, I guess if you could get something for him, a 2nd or 3rd round, a 2nd rounder would be freaking. That would blow us out of the water.
I don't think you get any more than a 4th for him right now. How many catches he got? 4?
23, I think.
Yeah. Ridiculous.
Averaging about 40-some yards a game.
No, the shitty part is, didn't Flacco go to the Jets or some shit? It's like, why can't we unload one of our guys? But then the contracts are so bad. How the hell can we unload them?
Conditional 6 could be a 5th. Yeah.
But Flacco's cheap too.
Yeah, Flacco's contract looks a lot better than
Foles or Dalton. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, man, I don't know. It just sucks.
There we go. Yes.
Jer, I thought you brought up a good point on Twitter earlier today about how many guys on this offense would start other places and how many guys would look more productive elsewhere.
Yeah.
So we've said A-Rob, right? So
A-Rob would be. Yeah,
he'd be more productive somewhere else.
He'd be a number 2.
Solid number 2. What about Darnell Mooney? Is he producing more somewhere else?
He's awful fast.
I'd have to say he would.
Yeah, I would lean towards that. I give you Mooney somewhere as a 3 in a slot, maybe. I don't know.
Anybody else? I can't pick one tight end that would be starting elsewhere.
Cody, maybe.
On a decent team. Cody and James Daniels would probably be the 2 next likely guys. And that's it.
Like if you were talking,
I don't know.
I'm not talking. Could they start for the Jets?
No,
I'm talking about could they start for a legit playoff team?
I think if Kmet was drafted by a team like the Patriots or something, he'd be a starter. It depends.
So retroactively developed is what you mean.
I think there's coaches that if they would have got their hands on him, could have developed him better. Yeah,
that's a fair argument.
That's a fair point. Yeah, it is.
Not be such bad coaches that they have to overpay a veteran to come in to coach him.
Because they can't. At that one who doesn't necessarily block all that well.
And that should have been a sign right there.
Gosh, his red zone production is so good.
Well, this whole Nagy thing where
what's the red zone?
He always has to have a quarterback that's more of a quarterback coach than a backup.
Right.
That should have been telltale sign. He came in and needed to bring in the freaking former Vikings coach Childress with him as an advisor. Like, he's never been able to stand on his own. And then when he did it, it was absolute horse shit. It's just, I don't know, man.
But they're getting tired of it up at House Hall. They're really fed up.
I hope
They're
he
gonna
gets,
have They sent a stern letter.
I hope he
Is
gets
Virginia pissed? Is she
I
pissed
just
again?
I hope he gets healthy enough by Saturday to get fired.
I don't think there's any shot they're going to fire him
And no,
during the season, sadly. They should, but I don't think they will.
I hope they do, just to say, put a little sign up in front of Hallis Hall saying, we are hiring, just to get ahead of it all.
Nobody wants jobs anymore. Just look around. Everybody's hiring.
Yeah.
I do think there is something to be said about getting ahead of other teams firing coaches and seeing what's out there.
Absolutely.
But I also do think that stuff goes on regardless of contract status. Talks are happening behind closed doors.
And how much faith does Nagy have in his coaching staff? He put Tabor in charge.
He's the only one that hasn't royally shit the bed most of the season. So
Because this is a coach that hasn't wanted to hire any threat to his throne.
at least you put somebody that scores points. His group scores points.
I mean, to me, the only guy you could even think to replace him with mid-year would be Sean Desai. A guy who may or may not be auditioning for What If.
I mean, it would be, I guess it might be too big of a promotion, but Pettin's done it.
But you know what Pettin is. My bigger point is you're not winning shit this year anyways, right? So is your time better served auditioning a maybe potential replacement? Now, I don't think Sean Desai is ready to be a head coach, but I'd rather see my time spent there saying, maybe, let's see, what if, as an audition, as opposed to running out a guy, a retreat, and you already know what he is, and you're not hiring him for the long haul.
How often do auditions actually stick in this situation where you fire a head coach?
I can only think of one in recent memory, and that was Freddie Kitchens, which ended up being a total fucking disaster for them.
Well, before we go much further, I'm just kind of looking at the schedule here.
I'm sorry.
Niners, Steelers, bye week, Ravens, Lions. Now, the bye week's going to be a tough opponent. Hopefully, we can get past them.
Well, luckily, we play really good out of the bye week. So
yeah, and luckily we don't play anybody good, but the Ravens. Yeah, that'll be great. How many wins do you see there?
Are the Ravens after the bye week?
Yeah, oh yeah. Whew, that's an automatic L, baby.
No, we're getting we're getting 2 wins before the bye week.
You think we're beating the Niners and the Steelers?
I don't think the Niners are the Bucs. I think they're beatable.
No, but we're the Bears.
Ugh.
We'll preview that game later on this week, guys.
Yeah, there you go. That's what we call a teaser, ladies and gentlemen. That's a professional. That's a motherfucking professional right there.
Like
that was a good call, Diddy. It was a good call. I would say that the ceiling on that win total is 2. You're beating the Lions, hopefully, and you're stealing one against San Francisco or Pitt. Hopefully fucking Pitt, because I'm traveling up there. We all are.
I'll try, down there. Down.
Oh, yeah, you're down. You're down. I'm up. According to Jer, I'm going sideways, I think.
Always sideways. Do we have any goats of the game, boys and girls? Any goats?
Yeah, I'll give you one. Lord Brady. Go to the game.
Oh, my God.
Goat fucker of the game, maybe.
Wow.
Facts. Fucking facts. That was a glorified fucking training camp practice out there for him.
I do agree with that.
Now, you meant go to the game in terms of Bears.
I wouldn't even give Brady that. I would have given it to Todd Bowles if I was going to give it to anybody in Tampa.
Yeah, that's a valid point. I just wanted to bust your balls. Khalil Herbert. I mean, come on. Number 1 ranked rushing defense and put up 100 yards.
That's where I have such a problem with this. The offensive line really as bad as we think it is. If we can rush for 100, it's like, why can't we build off of that? That is something that you should absolutely be able to fucking build off of. And we can't.
Well, you're
We
the O-line
can't.
expert here on this show, Jer. How come they can run block so good, but they're that bad in pass pro? Obviously, there's
Maybe
different techniques in play here, but
size versus speed, maybe. That's the only thing I can come up in my head.
Why not just block the same fucking way?
Because that makes sense.
Yes, guys, we're run blocking every play. Fuck it.
and you live with a couple of men downfield penalties.
I hear you, man. I'm just saying, like, I don't get it.
No, I
either.
agree with you. I'm at the point of fuck it. Let's try that too. Why
How about
not?
you just run block Justin? You run, hand it off. Let's just run. Let's just become
RPO.
Yeah.
RPO.
I've been
I get you.
screaming for it. Yep.
Can we go dark for a second here? Real dark.
Darker than we have been.
Darker
Go
than
for
we
it.
have been. Okay.
Go for it.
Are you all at the point where you consider throwing Andy Dalton back out to the Wolves
No.
because you're concerned about what toll this might take on Justin? I'm not saying I feel that way. I'm just throwing the hypothetical out there to you boys.
I think you would have been justified to throw him out there to finish that game. I think a coach could have said, hey, you're going to finish this game. Justin, you're done. But I also get you got to get every rep to develop that quarterback, if that's really what you're trying to do.
Are those reps beneficial at this point?
I don't think so. But you didn't do anything with it anyway. You did nothing with it, which is even more disappointing.
Could work
That was
both
a junk.
ways.
It was junk time, and he didn't do shit in junk time, brother.
What I'm saying is this could work. I want to think that he's wired that all these negative experiences are just going to fuel him more. So like some guys are just wired differently, where like you either let it consume you or you take it personal and you want to make that situation better so bad to get out of the bullshit. I think he's wired correctly for this unfortunate situation he's in. And I'm hoping that it's just like it just makes him better. It's one of those seasons that he never wants to experience again. If this continues to snowball, you have to move on from Nagy and let that new coach come in and change shit. They need a new voice. If this shit keeps happening, they need a new direction.
One of the things that worried me was the statement of we didn't pick up the protection on the Khalil Herbert where he ran the play action instead of coming out there. Justin didn't see it.
You talking about the safety blitz?
Yep. Justin didn't
Khalil
see
Herbert whiffed like a motherfucker, bro.
I'm just saying.
Bad.
Those things bother me.
Yeah, it bothers me too when the running back fucking whiffs. They saw it. They picked it up. They just didn't execute it. He took a real bad angle, and the safety said, "See ya."
What string safety was that? Probably fifth string safety.
Oh, I forget, man.
Sure.
It was like going. Yeah, it's just Bears PTSD.
Yeah, it's the same shit every week. Now we're gonna play a worse team next week, so we got a chance. Anyway,
they're coming off four straight losses.
Yep.
Yeah.
They're
just ripe for a win.
Hey, they fire Shanahan, we fire Nagy.
Give me a Shanahan. Anyway, we'll talk about that.
Would you really take Shanahan? Really?
Yeah, his father's a Chicago guy, man.
Oh man. Like, I don't even know what the fuck to say to that anymore. Let's just dig up George and wheel his ass back out there.
Hey, it'd be fun for the division to have Shanahan versus LaFleur.
We want a guy who's reeling out there in San Francisco to come and.
Hey, Shanahan knows Justin. He worked with him when he was in high school, I think, right?
I believe so.
He's the godfather of the McVay.
You have thoughts about this, Biscuits. Let them out.
I mean,
you.
I think you. And now you just evaporated all my thoughts. I think he's a guy who's better suited to be an offensive coordinator than he is to be a head coach. I personally would not be thrilled to have Kyle Shanahan here.
Then get a head coach that can bring him in as an OC.
There you go.
Perfect. Let's hire Dan Quinn then. And no, I'm just fucking joking. I do not want Dan Quinn. I'm just being sarcastic. But no,
Did
I
you
think
ever give us a coach name other than I think we gave coach names? Did you give one?
my top two guys right now who I would want is Dabble and Dave Tobe. I think special teams coaches, there's a lot to be said there. Harbaugh's had a lot of success. What about the guy out in Oakland now? It's 2 wins in a row. I'm sorry, Las Vegas. 2 wins in a row for them as an interim coach.
Hold on, let me check my email. That's a bad joke. And hey, that actually has legs here in
I
Chicago.
didn't even get to pick my MVP of the game, and I didn't get to.
Nobody cares.
Oh, who's your?
Okay.
I mean, if it's not Herbert,
Go ahead.
who is it?
Cairo Santos.
He scored points.
What about Pat O'Donnell? It's some really good punting out there.
Oh my god!
He did run down a returner, saved a touchdown.
I'm gonna say Roquan on defense. I got another dark horse head coaching candidate for you,
All right.
David Shaw.
Ooh, Stanford man. Stanford man. Yeah. I don't hate that.
From the
I'm
Harbaugh.
usually
from
not
the
a big
Harbaugh-
college guy either.
The Harbaugh tree, right? So he might be connected enough to put together a good staff.
Would you take Jim Harbaugh here?
No,
Really? Really?
never been a Harbaugh guy.
He's
I
a
think-
You'll see why here in
He's
a
a-
couple of weeks when
he's
they
a-
match up with Ohio State and Ohio State kicks their ass in the
Well,
next Wednesday.
recruiting is a whole different scenario.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're Michigan. Stop. You're fucking Michigan.
College recruiting is completely different, though.
You're Michigan.
Yeah, but here you're
fucking-
not having.
Hi,
He's not
I'm in
going to
this-
be our GM here. I mean, he did pretty damn well out there with Trent Baalke in San Francisco. I think we would kill for a 4-year stretch like
I
that.
think he would want that kind of control, though. I really do. I think his ego's that big that he would want to be like have a Belichick type control. I just think it's. I don't think he's the right guy right now.
If that's
Because
the case, I'm off that then.
plus he's a firecracker, bro, that goes out after like 2 seasons. He's a guy that will come in and kind of he'll get things on the right track. But I think that it's
Michigan's
intense.
not-
It's intense style of coaching, and I just don't know how.
Well, weren't we just propping up Ditka to be this asshole savior who came in and had to do things the right way, and that we didn't want the company man?
Sure, I just think Harbaugh's on a little different of a level of psychoticness. He's a different type of cat, man.
If he wasn't
man-
in charge of the personnel, sign me up. If he is, then no, I'm out on that too.
I just like Shaw because he is an offensive mind that also is a head coach that has been a head coach in a program for a long time.
All I'm going to say about the Jim Harbaugh hire, if they were to hire Jim Harbaugh, is watch what Ohio State does to him this year. That's why you don't need, and it's not because of talent. You're Michigan. Trust me, I'm an IU guy. We'll take your recruits. No problem. Just sign them on over.
How did Cliff Kingsbury look at college?
Mm.
He did okay with Mahomes, right? Isn't that Mahomes' coach?
Yeah, and they won, I think, less than 500 of their games. Sub 500 coach seems to be. I think it's like
There's
everything
talent
with
there
Bears.
too.
Well, that's the thing. Everything with Chicago is always a multi-layered issue. It's not just one thing. It's not just the quarterback. It's not just the coaching.
Right.
It's coaching, personnel. It's everything.
Well, it reminds me, like, what was it? AA always talks about, was it Murphy's Rule? You can have this, but we're taking away this, this, and this.
Yeah.
So, like, we get a kicker, but you don't get an offensive line. You
Yeah.
have
so-
a quarterback. but you
It's-
don't have
Great point.
a safety that fucking tackles.
I thought we
play-
had everything else though.
We play in a football museum by the lake.
Thank you. That's where it's got to change.
No,
Stop.
So
Stop.
if we move to
Here's what
Arlington Heights, all of a sudden Ryan Pace is going
You
to all of a
start-
sudden make great picks, and Matt Nagy's going to learn how to score fucking points. Arlington's going to
start-
change that.
ownership starts
I didn't
taking
say that, bro.
accountability.
You got like a little hype there. I like it.
I'll talk about this. This is my thing. This is what I think. You got to get out of Soldier Field. You got to go. Why? Because the stench at Soldier Field is not there. You are the fucking
stench
Cubs.
is going to follow you. We've shit
I
in our
disagree.
pants, and we're just going to be sitting in a different seat with shitty pants.
I disagree. You have to wash everything away. You have to take your history, appreciate your history for what it is. It is your history, but that's got to go. If you want to be a real team and you want to be a fucking contender, start acting like one. Start paying the money for the field facilities. Start paying the money so you can. If you have a results-based business where the ticket revenue doesn't really matter. I mean, you get the ticket revenue for what it is, right?
Yeah.
But you don't have to. The maintenance costs, half that shit doesn't really fall on you. It falls on the city, right?
Yeah, Park District.
Yeah. Funny how that works, huh?
Okay, so have they redone Hallis Hall? Have they retrofitted Hallis Hall in that multi-million-dollar project with new facilities and all that?
Yeah, I've done
state-of-the-art
Hallis
shit?
Hall.
And did anything change production-wise on the field?
Not necessarily, no.
Okay, all right. So, and you are of the theory that they need to wipe away this weird.
You gotta wipe away some of this history. Some of this history has to go.
I mean, I see what you're saying. Like, and my take about Arlington has always been a meathead take. I know that, but I just if I come to realistic terms here, I just don't think moving stadiums is all of a sudden going to make our accountant enable him to make a smarter football decision on who he's hiring. I don't think the GM is suddenly, bringing in some semblance of an O-line. And I don't think the coach is all of a sudden going to be that offensive mastermind that we hired him to be. I don't see that connection there personally.
Here's my thought, and this is why I think the way I think about this situation. You cannot allow yourself to become the Cubs. 100 years of fucking misery. For what? The Bears are the fucking Cubs, bro. They're the same shit.
And what changed for the Cubs?
Ownership changed.
They hired
the idea of Theo Epstein.
There you
From
go.
where?
So
Boston.
they didn't move out of Wrigley? They didn't go to a new stadium to win that World Series? Just asking.
No, but they have upgraded it tremendously, and it actually does look way nicer than
They built a neighborhood around it. Yeah.
Did he?
Yeah,
What are
they
your
rebuilt the whole damn neighborhood.
What are your thoughts on this, Diddy? Not wanting to play in a better new stadium, but would that translate to something being different with the franchise in terms of the product on the field?
Yes, because it's not a 1 year process. We're probably looking at 4 or 5 years, right? So that once that decision's made, you're going to want to put a good product in there, and the wheels are set in motion to stop bullshitting.
Why? Okay.
Why? Look at the Rams.
People show up now.
Look at the Chargers.
We're $1 billion
Look at the
valuation.
Chargers.
Listen, hold on now. We're $1 billion valuation, and we have not won a championship since before I was born.
Dude,
Welcome to the Cubs.
You're talking about them actually throwing real money down though in their facility.
But the McCaskies have spent the money. That hasn't been the issue for numerous years.
This is almost the money that they can't afford. Level money.
I think we're meshing two different concepts here. Yes, I get why most people want to go.
Come to our historic museum by the lake, where you can get bombed and watch a shitty product, and we'll take your ticket money, and you can sit in an uncomfortable seat and be miserable.
I just don't. Or here, come watch it in this nice, comfortable lazy boy seat as we still give you that shitty product we've been giving you for 40 years. I just don't see how changing a stadium is all of a sudden going to make them brilliant football minds, and they're all of a sudden going to make these decisions.
You more accountable as a business and makes you more accountable as an owner.
Fuck no. The McCaskies don't answer to anybody. They have zero accountability. Ted Phillips has no accountability. That's the fucking problem with this team. We can't force them to sell, and they know it. And they know that we as fans will continue to pay for this shit, regardless of where they're playing. You've got me all fired up about this. Look, you want to move to Arlington? Fine. I'll fucking accept it. I'll deal with it. I'll be at the Dolphin Swim Up Whiskey Bar, boys, but the product will not change by moving fucking stadiums.
I disagree. I think
I love you. I'm glad you disagree. This is good talk.
Because you can't keep doing this.
So do you think that they don't care about the product on the field currently?
No.
You don't think they do?
I think they care.
Minorly. A little bit.
I think that's where we disagree.
The guys in the locker room care.
As long as the check clears.
Bears care.
I think they know, but I think they're smart enough to know that if they win, that check's going to be even fatter.
Not really, because you're not in your own stadium. You're not.
Yes, but how much more merchandise are they selling, peddling out the door?
Oh, they're selling enough now.
Enough, but would they sell more if they won a Super Bowl?
You don't think that puts more pressure on them as owners to put a winning product on the field if you're building a new stadium?
No.
I disagree.
We show up now for the same
absolutely
30
disagree.
years worth of shit. They've literally shoveled shit after shit pile in our face, and we continue to show up.
Hence the analogy: the Bears are just the fucking Cubs.
I think they care. I think they care about winning. I just think they're so inept on how to get there.
I think they want to make this, as ownership, I honestly feel like they want to make this the house that Justin built, man. And in order to do that, you need to correct shit, because this is not the right direction currently.
Justin isn't going to make it to the construction site at this rate.
This move Justin was part of this decision to at least get the offer going.
I agree with that.
So the goal is to get him.
You can sell it. You can sell Justin Fields.
Absolutely.
Fan base.
You don't think that they want this kid to work? Nagy's right now isn't the answer unless he really turns shit around here with him. Man, move on. That has to be the focus, and I think that's part of the reasoning behind all this.
Justin is your business model.
Your business model should be winning.
Like, I really want this.
Oh, it should be, but
what this kid's
Justin didn't take a fucking snap. Sorry.
No, what this kid's capable of doing, man. I really just want him to work out for us. Like, we're so long overdue for this type of player that I think he can be.
See that? He was number 1, number 2, and number 3 in jersey sales.
So, by that logic, why didn't the McCaskies demand that he start right away to begin the year? Why did we go through this whole charade with Andy Dalton?
That's an excellent point. I don't know.
Because Thomas didn't want to break a promise.
I think they trusted their football guys. And I guess we'll agree to disagree on the impact that Arlington would have on this team. If, hypothetically, if Matt Nagy is still your head coach and Ryan Pace is still your GM and you're moving stadiums, I do not see how the product all of a sudden gets better. How and where is that coming from?
The emphasis changes. That's the point. The emphasis changes.
I mean, we haven't won a playoff game in over a decade.
Something's got to give, right?
The emphasis isn't there already. I mean,
have you looked around?
I mean, it's hard for me to wrap my
look
head
at that roster.
around.
Go look at that roster and tell me that the emphasis on winning's there. Go ahead.
First of all,
that's their football guys. That's their football guys.
Sorry.
You have to be you. You have to be obsessed, and you have to start chasing great.
We found the wise.
Jesus Christ. Guys, I've never felt
Feel that.
I've never felt so closer to you guys. I feel
Sorry,
very
go ahead.
close, and that's real right now. It's
Yeah,
real.
I feel that. That's real. We feel it. We know that he needs to be better.
I
He knows
disagree with you on Arlington, but I feel closer to you for now, having collaborated on
You
this.
can't. You just can't fall into the trap. That's my
Yeah.
point.
And Biscuits, I'm really just I'll be able to get an answer to you, but I'm just gonna have to go and watch the film.
Okay.
Watch the tape. Really see how that.
Can you
Which
figure
I-
out the whys for Arlington and get back to me of why the product would be better? I'd appreciate that.
Absolutely. We're gonna find out the whys. We care,
Care.
So
Just want to make sure. Okay. All right. What's the next fucking
Okay.
segment?
No, we still got to get through. You said you had Roquan as your defensive player. Did you pick your offensive player before we went on to fucking
not really offense, just Santos.
Santos? I'm going to take Herbert, and I'll take nobody on defense because the defense wasn't worth it.
I mean, Santos is our scoring leader so far. He's kind of the MVP.
I agree. Whoa, mid-season MVPs. That's going to be a good hot topic.
Jesus. I'm with you, Jer. I didn't pick a defensive guy, and I don't think I can.
Nope.
I'm not sure there's one there. Ogletree had a really rough day again. Vildor is just... What happened to the physicality that we saw out of Vildor in training camp? That seems to have all but disappeared in his play
Flags.
style. Yeah.
Flags happened. I believe that.
Yeah.
Do you
I
remember
got
Peanuts? Do you remember Peanuts' rookie year?
Off the top of my head, vaguely, but yes.
He got penalized a lot. He got hit with PI a lot. But he didn't change the way he played. He was physical in your face. Those guys need to play with the same way. Don't change the way you play because you get a flag. Unless you're continuously getting flags.
That's another thing. Tampa Bay figured out how to clean shit up against us because they were a very highly penalized team going into this game.
Nah, we're good. We're everybody's get right. We're that good get right.
That's next week with San Francisco. We're the get right game. They're circling us like, all right, guys, we got this one at least.
Dude, this game, talent overmatched, coaching so overmatched, and I like the side, but man, that young man was put in a predicament.
Yep.
Yeah, my opinion of Desai did not change after yesterday. I think that was going to be a tough ass, especially down your top guys, Robert Quinn and Akeem Hicks. I mean,
I think this was good for his development as a coach because I think he'll actually learn and change from it. I think he's that intelligent.
That's the point I just had in my head. Good job. You're thinking with me.
Yeah.
He can learn from it.
He will learn from it. I think he's that one guy on the staff that actually will.
Right.
So
he's got a chance.
Well, I definitely talked about this longer than I expected to. I was ready to just start this episode, say, fuck this team and call it. But
you can still say that.
No, it's therapeutic, man. Just kicking it with you guys about this shit, man, because I do, man. I love this team. And
of course you do. We all do.
It sucks, bro. Like you
the
put
whole room's dedicated to it.
Well, no, it's fun. It's an escape. But there's also this is emotional for us. You know what I mean? Like this is our squad, man. And like your ownership and this coach is shitting on our lawn. We care. I think we care more than ownership does. I truly believe that. And that's the frustrating part. And I think as a fan base, yes, we bicker and argue, but as a whole, we're seeing the big picture, and it's frustrating that ownership doesn't even see it. And if they do and just don't react to it, it's just like I think we're a pretty damn alert fan base.
You think George and Ted will be out there on the lot next week, pressing the flesh with the fans? How dangerous of a move would that be?
I think George is a good guy. I just don't think. I think he's just he's that kid. He's that kid that got the job because of who his parents were. He's not. I've met him. He's a nice dude. I'm not making excuses for his decision making, but like he's a genuinely nice guy. I just think he's in way the fuck over his head.
I agree. I think he wants to win. I genuinely think he does. He's just not a football guy.
So what's he gonna say exactly? Like,
I wonder how much.
I think you should bet a 3-4 this week.
I think we forget that it's a business too. This is a business, and I would say that his business model, you would look at him and say that he was a successful person, because financially, I would bet they're probably in better straits than they've ever been as a team.
They started off with nothing, and the league blew the fuck up.
And now we're here.
Well, I was gonna say this thing pretty much runs itself.
Yeah, man, it didn't happen. They just happened to be to inherit the hard work there that George House put in.
Yeah,
I mean this thing was, if you have an NFL team and you're not making money,
he didn't kill it.
Kind of a fuck.
He didn't kill it. He didn't go Dan Snyder on it.
No,
have to change the team name, the whole 9 yards. I mean, there is some credibility to not fucking sinking the ship.
Well, he didn't choose the team name, Jer.
No, I know that, but I'm saying, he didn't send 1,000 emails to people, and he didn't do any of that shit.
That we know.
Yeah, that we know of.
Can somebody get to the bottom of his emails, please? That would that'd be nice. I think his biggest mistake has been the structure within the organization and not wanting to change that. Exactly.
It's fucking Ted.
Yeah, you want to keep Ted around. He's the first fucker I'd fire into the sun. You want to keep him around, put him on the business side of the building, and let him make that fucking money. I'll live with that.
Right.
And bring in a football guy like Diddy said earlier, like Ozzie Newsome. That's what a leader should do. That's George's biggest mistake. I think he cares. I just think he's so fucking inept on how to do it.
Correct.
I agree.
On that note.
And that's Ted Phillips talk.
Yep.
Welcome to our TED Talk. It's so bad.
It's bad because we all expected this outcome last week. We all talked about it was going to take a perfect game to win. I think our expectations were set, and we're still this fucking upset.
Well, here's the reality: is that even in junk time, it looked bad. In junk time, it looked like shit.
Couldn't even get any Blake Bortles time in there.
Nope, and nope.
So,
anything else, guys?
Hope everybody's enjoying their Monday.
Yeah.
I got nothing else.
All right.
Looking forward to the preview not next week, this week. Thursday, Friday.
We'll do that we'll do it one of these days. We'll figure it out.
Maybe we'll get AA on the preview this time.
There we go.
Yeah.
Mix it up a little bit.
It was nice going a little earlier, actually. I had a little more energy because I was talking about this at like 11 o'clock at night.
Oh, here we go. Diva Diddy is back.
Diva Diddy, bro. Like,
I mean, 5 a.m. is pretty fucking early for him to get
Oh,
up.
it's not like he sleeps anyway. You ever see him on Twitter?
I could tweet from my bed. At least I'm laying down and resting my body just because my mind's
He's
not
sleep
resting.
tweeting, man.
You know what I mean?
We ain't even getting full attention on them tweets. We getting sleep tweets.
You know, you ain't tweeting from the bed. You're doing something.
You got one hand on something,
tweeting.
but you got one hand on. Never mind.
Nah, I wouldn't want to wake up my wife. No.
Good.
So anyway,
all
that's
right.
just another episode of the Tailgate Show.
The Bears.
Duh, blowout.
Bullshit and more bullshit. Fuck that guy.
Peace out.